How's it going, everybody? I hope you're all staying safe out there. My name's Garrett Green. I'm the Media Relations Manager and Broadcaster for the Biloxi Shuckers, and I am so excited about what we're bringing you today. This is a special project that we've been working on for a little while here for the Shuckers, and I can't wait for you to all see it. Now, for those of you who might not know, today is June 15th, and that's a very special day in Shuckers franchise history. June 15th, 2018, the Shuckers won the first half South Division title. It was their third half division title that they had won, but it locked off a playoff spot for them in 2018 to make it into the postseason for the first time since 2015. Now, that's great and all, but this game is arguably the most dominant pitching performance in franchise history. Zack Brown threw a complete game, one hitter, and that one hit came with 2 outs in the 9th inning. It was a magical game. The Shuckers ended up winning 5-0 over the Mississippi Braves. There was a great element with Nick Ramirez, who had been with the Shuckers since their start, who came in and played in that ball game. And so instead of just having me talk about it, I wanted to get the perspectives of everybody who was involved in that game on the field. So Mike Guerrero, along with Dave Chavarria, Tyler Heineman, and the man on the mound, Zack Brown, were all very kind enough to give me a little bit of their time and conduct an interview. Just so you know, I was able to interview Dave, Tyler, and Zack in one session and Mike Guerrero in another. So Mikey's mixed in here a little bit as we go throughout, but I wanted to give their perspectives on that game. And by the way, if you want to go and read about it, you can check out our June program that we did for the Shuckers. There's some other great content in there as well. Go check it out. But these are the interviews that I did for this June Game Day program to bring you this tales of this game from those perspectives. So without further ado, let's dive right in and hear about it from the people who lived it. All right, so today we get to look back at one of the best games in Shuckers history, and I'm here with 3 integral pieces of it. We have the battery and the pitching coach from Zack Brown's complete game one hitter that he threw in June of 2018. We've got Tyler Heineman, who was the catcher that night, Zack Brown, the man on the mound, and of course, Dave Chavarria, the pitching coach, who was there for all of it. Guys, I know that we're all kind of scattered to the winds right now, but thanks so much for taking a couple of minutes of your time to come by and chat about one of the best games that we've had in the franchise here.
No problem.
Yeah, no problem at all.
All right, so I'm going to get started, and you guys can hop in because I know that it's been a couple of years. Do you guys remember what that day was like leading into that game?
Yeah. Yes.
I don't. No, not at all.
The closest I've ever claimed to calling, catching a no-hitter, and probably should have been if Corey Ray would have made the right read. No, I'm just kidding. That was a tough read, but yeah, that was. I remember it well, and then that was a clincher too for us. So that's a fond memory for me.
Yeah. Well, do you guys remember, because we almost didn't play that night because there was a pop-up storm that rolled through and the field got soaked that day with absolutely no tarp on top of it. So we almost didn't play that night, but apparently that didn't impact anything that you guys had going on. You guys were ready to get going for that game.
Yeah, I don't even remember that. No, not at all.
It just shows you guys were in the zone that day. So that's all that matters. All right. First inning, 2 runs scored. Gatewood gets hit by a pitch. He comes out of the game. So now it's Rammer in at first base. But Zack, for you get 2 runs right out of the gate. How does that help you out when you're getting going in a game like this?
Yeah, it's great. I think that happened very often that year, not just for me, but for a lot of the pitching staff. The top of the order and even the bottom half when they got on, it was just up and down 1 through 9, always liable to score runs for you.
One of the most important things that you had to deal with in the game, first inning, Jake Gatewood's batting, fastball runs in, hits him in the hand, he's out of the game. And you obviously have a pretty easy solution with Nick Ramirez, who you've managed at first base before. But what was that conversation like with Nick to be like, hey, you're playing first base the rest of the night?
Well, so I believe that every time I use Nick as a position player, he usually pitched the previous day.
Yep.
So he knew that every time that he went out there, and pitch, there's a high probability that I was going to use him as a position player. He's going to pinch hit or DH if necessary for that day. And he always bring his glove, and he was prepared. But for that to happen, I was feeling pretty uncomfortable. Anytime you throw Nick Ramirez out there, defensively, he's I would say first class at first base. He can pick it. He's a pretty good pitcher also.
Mm-hmm.
He got to the big leagues last year and all that, but pretty good first baseman. And I feel pretty comfortable every time he went to the plate. He can run into one and put it over the fence.
So from there, like, look, I know that, when a guy's throwing a no-hitter or a perfect game or whatever, like, you're not supposed to chat with him in the dugout. But I mean, for you at that point in the season, Zach, like 6 up, 6 down, that's not particularly rare at that point in the season. So like Xavi or Heineman, like, do you guys remember talking to Zach at all during the first part of that game before it kind of got deep into it? Or was it just, hey, the kid's doing his thing tonight, we're not going to touch it?
On my aspect, I have a small conversation with Zach and with Tyler when they came off. Every early in the ball game of, hey, what's going on, whatever it is, but that's natural with everybody that on that pitching staff early on in the game. It's not usually a long conversation. It was always like, hey, everything all right? Yeah, good. Hey, I'm not feeling this. I'm not feeling that. Okay, just keep on trying to hammer this or hammer the game plan, whatever it is. So it's always like, I would say no more than a 10 or 15 second conversation. And, as a pitching coach, when you're in that aspect, that's their time to perform. So you just kind of get, little snippets and then just kind of move on. And so you're aware of stuff. But, yeah, I'm going to tell you this, until about I'm not going to lie, until about the 6th inning, I had no idea he had no hitter going on. I was zoned in on just him and what they were doing, and I didn't even, look at the hits on the board or anything like that. I was just kind of going by what the game, and then, checking out, hey, if this happens, what are we going to do, that type of thing. So it wasn't until about the 6th inning that I looked up. I was like, oh, crap, yeah, it's a no-no going. And I think that was about the last time I said, hey, good job or anything to him.
Yeah, I'm similar a little bit to Xavi there. Zach and I kind of had a good relationship. I caught, for the most part, almost all of his starts that year. So, I think we kind of just went back and forth every once in a while on what we thought was working that day. But other than that, it's just really small conversations. And just like Xavi said, like, it was just another day at the office kind of thing. Like, he was so dominant that year that I wasn't even thinking about the fact that they didn't have hits. I just was thinking about how he was kind of executing his 2-seam, executing his 4-seam, his curveball, his changeup. So, like, he kind of had everything rolling, and we were in sync for the most part during the game. I can't remember too well, but he might have shook me off maybe twice or 3 times the entire game. So, we kind of were on the same page on everything, and we were going batter to batter. And then once it got to be like the 6th, 7th inning, I was like, shoot, there's really been no hits. Then that's when I started to kind of think about it, and then I shied away and stayed away from Brownie for the rest of the game.
Well, Zach, they've answered, like, when did you know, like, oh, there's no hits on the board, and for 7 innings, like, I haven't given up a base runner so far.
Yeah, probably 2 times through the lineup. You see everyone twice, and you kind of know what their game plan is going in, and then you see the zeros up there. So that's probably right around when it was setting in.
I always know, that's just me. I always know where they're standing in pitch count, the scoreboard. I try to manage with the scoreboard. I always know where we set and where we at. And I'm always talking to, especially Xavi. We had really good communication, really good relationship. where we knew exactly, and you know, it was kind of fun just to say, hey, don't talk to him, leave him alone. You know, it's like staying away from him, and you know, everybody knew in the dugout where we were standing, but everybody wanted to stay away from him. You know, everybody in reality wanted to stay away from him. He was cruising. He was on top of things, and you know, it's a shame that game got broke on a blooper that should have been caught in reality.
Xavi and Tyler, for both of you guys again, and I'll ask Zach a couple of more detailed questions in a second, but had there been a game for either of you that have been like that, where you're at a perfect game through 7 and then into a no-hitter into the 9th inning?
I've never had that. I've never caught that. The closest I've gotten was, you know, we had a, and when I was with Houston, we had a doubleheader 7-inning game, and we got to 6 innings, and then gave it up. But no, I've never gotten that close.
I've been involved up to that point with 2 of them. One when I was with coaching. Both of them were coaching. One was in the Cal League. One hitter going into I think in the 9th with 1 out, and end up, you know, giving up a hit. And it was almost the same thing. It was like a line drive to center field type deal. The other one was a combined no-hitter when I was coaching up in Wisconsin. And I think it was close to a perfect game. I think we gave up 1 walk or something like that. But, you know, to go back to all that stuff, I think, you know, especially as a catcher and as a pitching coach, and even, I mean, a pitcher also, I think if you have a mindset of, hey, especially early on, the first 2 innings, oh, hey, I got 3 up, 3 down, or I got 6 up, 6 down, I'm throwing the no-hitter, or you got that mindset right off the bat, it blows up on you right from Jump Street. It's usually when those things happen, it's just one of those deals like a rain delay or something, and you're not feeling well that day. It's always something that's off, and I think that's when those special occasions happen with no-hitters and perfect games and stuff like that. And then, you know, all of a sudden you look up, like Tyler said, and myself, and you look up and it's the 6th or 7th inning, and you go, oh, crap. Yeah, he is throwing a no-hitter. Okay, let's you know, see what we can do type of thing. So, but they're special. Even when you're in the big leagues, they're special, no doubt. But the minor leagues, it's special. I mean, it's a rare thing. You don't usually have the opportunity to even go 9 innings anymore. So, you know, when you have the opportunity to do it, it's a combined effort between the pitcher and the catcher. They're battling the whole time and stuff. So, you know, it's a credit to both those guys that night of what they did.
Well, and Zach, I'll ask you, because I've talked to Xavi and Tyler to get their perspective, but, you know, I've talked to a couple of other guys about some of their dominant starts that they've had, and they said that things kind of like black out for them, and they don't really remember it. How much of the game that night do you actually remember, like batter to batter, going along throughout that game?
Not a ton. Yeah, it was like a blackout situation outside of there were a couple good defensive plays, Ursig and Hager on the left side. Rammers 3-run home run in the 7th or 8th, I think it was. Mm-hmm. And then other than that, I think Keston had a good play in the hole. And other than that, there's not much that I remember.
Yeah, Keston had a really good play for the last out in the 7th. I've got that Corey made a really good play on a line drive in center field in the 4th. But yeah, other than that, and then obviously the error out in right field that you know, put a base runner on, but certainly kept the game intact. Now for you, and I don't know, again, since it's kind of one of those, you know, blackout situations, since this was a National League rules game, you batted 4 times, and one of them was with 1 out in the 8th inning.
We'll call it batting.
0 for 4, 3 Ks probably.
0 for 3 with 2 Ks and a very important sack bunt. So,
Perfect. I'll
but,
take it.
but no, so it was a strikeout looking. So I'm assuming at that point, bat on the shoulder, just hanging out.
Yeah, and I remembered, I was thinking about it when you texted me, and I knew we played the Braves, but I couldn't remember any of those at bats at all. Like I probably don't remember many at bats other than ones I got hit in because I have 2 hits. So you can't forget about those.
Seeing a lot of curveballs that night.
All right.
Always.
So I have to ask. All right. So Tyler mentioned it earlier. 2 outs, 9th inning, going and just getting to that point. Like when you're going back out for the 9th, how are each of you feeling heading out there? Xavi, I know you're just sitting there, trying to not screw things up at that point. But for the 2 of you who went out between the chalk, what do you think? What are you feeling going out for the 9th at that point?
I mean, for me, it was definitely keep doing your job, but you could sense that the 0 hits, like every at bat, it was pressure, even though it was like a 5-run game. And then the last hitter, we went up and in. We had got him up and in earlier in the game. I think it was Neslony, and he just kind of fisted it out there. And you could see in the video, Heine and I both crouch, like we know it's in. It's not hit well, and just that one misstep from C-Ray after all the good plays he had made that year is just unfortunate timing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of the same way. I felt a little bit of nerves, but it was more, like it was more just real excitement. It's as far as I've gone catching somebody, especially, somebody that is going all 9 innings, and not a combined thing. So, it was his ball game the whole way. So I think the pressure that was felt more on his end just because, like basically like I was going to let him throw whatever he wanted. So like if he, I didn't feel pressure of calling a wrong pitch because I thought we had a solid game plan, but like, literally everything was working. I could tell he was tired, but like, whatever he wanted to throw, I was gonna let him throw. I wasn't gonna, make him throw a certain pitch because, he'd earned that throughout the whole season for sure. But, especially that night, he earned the right to throw the game, throw the 9th inning the way that he wanted to throw the 9th inning. And, everything worked out literally exactly right. And he dotted that fastball up and in Neslony. And I think that, I was screaming in. I don't know. It's just that's a tough read for an outfielder. As long as I've talked to outfielders, because they can't really hear the sound of the bat when it sounds like it's a jam because they're far away. So when he took a normal swing, and it had a trajectory of that the ball was going to go like kind of where he's at or a little bit farther. So the first step, and they tell you always make your first step back. And, so he played it right. It's just, it was just unfortunate. Like, I honestly wish that Neslony got a little more barrel to it because he's not going to hit it out to center at Biloxi Stadium. So, and Corey would have run that down.
I can recall, and, and I was telling Chuck, hey, bring him in. Don't worry about it. Bring him in. If he hits it over his head, we tip our hat because he hits it good. But I don't want a blooper to beat him. There he goes.
Did you say it too late, or was it just something that just didn't in the time for you to say it for Chucky to convey?
I said it early enough, and Chucky was bringing him in. He brought him in. Mm-hmm. He brought him in, but he needed to be more in. The issue was that he took, I believe, one or two steps back before he comes in. Now you don't have a chance. Mm-hmm. If he doesn't take those 2 steps, he makes that play easy 100 times. Yeah. It's going to be a 99 out of 100, but if now it's 100 times out of 100.
When we ended up getting out of that inning or getting out of the game, I'm pretty sure it was the clincher for that second half. But me and Zach, we clear as day. We were not really happy,
No.
and it's terrible. It's like, but like, we since got a little bit more happy when we got into the clubhouse and started to pop some champagne and stuff. But like, at the moment, it was like I was angry. I was pissed, not at anybody. I was just pissed because I wanted it for him. I wanted to be a part of it, and we were so close.
And I mean, Xavi alluded to it, with pitch counts and guys limited on their innings, like the concept of a guy being able to throw a 9-inning no hitter, and especially Zach, for you, like you give up a what turns into a double, but you give up a hit, and then I mean, there's no thought about taking him out because I'm pretty sure your pitch count was low enough that it's not one of those things where it's like, well, if he gives something up, we gotta yank him out of here. So, but what was that high, low, high like Tyler said, you give up a hit to lose a no-hitter, but then the next batter grounds out and everyone's going crazy because you've clinched a playoff spot.
Yeah, I think I've alluded to the video before, and I think there's a close-up on me and Heine just like getting together after the game, and we both just look angry. Like we're not really happy about getting the playoff clinch, but we are deep down. We're just like, damn, we were that close. Like It's just one of those things where you're so close. Like you could feel it. We executed the pitch, and then we just got to the next batter and got the ground out early in the count. So it was just one of those things. We'd mowed through that lineup. We had perfect game plan coming in from Xavi, and we executed pitches.
The way he threw the ball, oh my. And the defense was superb. Everything was incredible. He put the extra magic for that night, that special night for the Shuckers to clinch almost on a no-hitter. That's what you call almost a perfect night, all around it. And it's just a shame that the game got broke up on a blooper, and everybody was feeling bad because of that, but everybody was so pumped up that he took us there. He got us over the hump. He did the job. He wanted to do the job. He wanted to win the game. That was the priority for him. And secondary, it just came for the no-hitter. But everybody wanted also the no-hitter. You can ask everyone in the ballpark and everyone on the team that we wanted everything. That just to make a perfect night. It was a magic night it was an incredible night for us, and we were really happy for everyone, really happy for him. The whole team. That's where the team. It was a special team when everybody was, together. Was a special team comes together. A special team take care of their teammates, and it was awesome. Just awesome.
Well, 2 years later, it's obviously a game that everyone still remembers here, and it's a big deal. And if it makes all three of you feel better, because none of y'all were here this year, Shupak had the same thing happen to him. One base runner on an error. I think it was in the fourth inning, and he took a no-no to 2 outs in the ninth, jam shot flare into center field. And that was how he lost it. So
that's how it always happens, too. It's not like can't you just hit like a nice freaking crisp line drive? It's like they miss their pitch. It's like, no, you don't miss your pitch. They still execute their pitch, and then it's a freaking something falls.
Yep. That's how it always works. Well, hey, that's kind of all I have, but just from you guys, like just final thoughts about any other things that I might not have asked about that really stand out to you guys from that night.
Well, just lastly, I want to just really quickly harp on the fact, like, me and Zach were saying that, we weren't like, we were angry, you know what I mean? And we clinched a playoff. It's like, we don't want to come off as selfish as all. No. We're not at all. He's like, if you know anything about Zach, he's as competitive as it comes on the mound. So, like he's all team all the way. But like when you come that close to that kind of accomplishment, and he's all adrenaline at that point. You know what I mean? It's like me and him, we felt the same way. It wasn't like anger. It was just like we kind of looked at each other with a little smirk. So it's, wanted to come across, that he's a big time gamer. He's always been a gamer. And that's just the way he operates. And, even if he gets taken out of a game, or if he gives up a hit on something that he believes he should have executed, you know what I mean? He gets angry at himself because he's, he demands not perfection, but he demands the best out of himself daily, even though when that's something that's not always going to happen. But that's a sign of something that somebody that really cares about their job, really cares about baseball, and really cares about kind of their craft on the mound.
I appreciate that, Honey. Thank you.
Yeah. Man, got it.
Yeah, the one thing is, I think people have to understand, obviously baseball is a game. It's fun to play and stuff like that. It's these guys' job, and the preparation that these guys put in every single day, between a game plan, talking to each other, looking over video, looking over film, whatever it is, and then and just preparation of getting to that point of starting the game. And then you got to add in the aspect of, hey, it's a rain delay, it's this, it's that, are we playing, are we not playing? And people will have to understand it's a wave of emotions when it's a small, even the slightest delay for these guys. And for these two guys, the way that they handled it, being pros, Heine's behind the plate, did an unbelievable job all year of handling the pitchers, leading them to different avenues, helping them out. It was unbelievable. And then you have Brownie on the mound, where as a pitching coach, it's kind of fun when you can sit back and certain days guys are pitching and certain guys are catching, and you sit back and you're not stressing out. And whenever those two guys were together, it was, I can't say it was a take a break day for me, because it never is, but it's more relaxed where you can sit there and enjoy the game a little bit, because these guys are going to compete, they're going to get after it, they're going to help each other, and it's not always like that. But with these two, it was outstanding, and it showed in that game. I mean, like to Heine's point, Bradley's point, yeah, they're upset a little bit, but it's because they're competitive. This is what they do for a living. And when you're that close to something special, it bites at you a little bit. Then you can step back and you're still in that game mode and stuff like that. Then you step back and you realize, yeah, we did something pretty special. So hats off to those two guys. It was a great day, but it was a great season. I mean, the whole team, the fun that we had, the friendships that guys made, it was outstanding. And that topped it off. It was a perfect situation and a clinch at the same time. And like those two guys said, popping champagne is one of the best feelings in the world when you're in a clubhouse with a bunch of guys.
The physical memory is it was one of the games that, when you make a plan, mm-hmm. and that plan works to perfection, everything you do, every move that you make, and you give each individual a plan, and they execute to perfection, and it just feels satisfaction that how you prepare and how everything goes, and it's just it gives you, okay, we're getting over the hump. Mm-hmm. That's one of the things, and Chavi and I, we talk about every pitcher, how we're gonna use him, how we're gonna do, what we're gonna do, and it was just, you feel this satisfaction that everything you did, how you planned it, everything come out even better than what you thought it was going to come out.
Yeah, and he absolutely deserved to be the Southern League Pitcher of the Year. I still got I made him sign a ball for me. I still got it up in my well, we just moved, but I changed positions. I'm banking on that thing being pretty pricey later on, so it's going to be a valuable piece of memorabilia for me. So and it's not gonna be sold no matter what, because it's got my name and it's personalized to me. But I made sure that I got a little bit of a memento from that season, because it was dominant all the way through. Every start, man, every start was nails. So it was just a pleasure to be to be a part of it for me.
Yeah, we'll get that bounce back to get that price up for you, Heine.
Hey, you'll get there, man. You'll get there. If we ever play, you're gonna be there.
Fingers crossed, baby.
Yeah, no, you got it.
Very nice. Well, guys, look, 2018 was an incredible season. My first full season in affiliated ball, I had no idea what I backed into with the team that we had. But especially, for a couple of y'all not even being in the Brewers organization anymore and taking the time to chat about this. And obviously, Zach, taking time out of your day as well. Like, thank you guys so much for doing this. Xavi, I hope that at some point, we're supposed to play each other like 25 times this season when you're in Pearl. Yeah. So I hope we see each other at some point soon.
Exactly. It would be nice to catch up and be back on the field.
But Tyler, obviously, all the best for you. Thanks for dropping by. And Zach, it's great to see you and chat again and talk about one of the best memories that I think that Shuckers fans have out there. So thanks to all you guys for taking some time to come by and relive a memory.
Yeah, you got it. Always fun
having us.
Well, absolutely fantastic stuff all the way around. Big thanks to Mike Guerrero, Tyler Heineman, Dave Chavarria, and of course the man on the mound, Zack Brown, for dropping by and chatting with us a little bit about that incredible night. Again, I mentioned it out of the top. You heard it a few times throughout that. That is, if people ask me what the most memorable game that I've called for the Shuckers is, it, and look, we've won 4 half titles. We've won the South Division back-to-back years. We've had something like 17 walk-offs in the time that I've been there. That game is always the one that I point to, and so June 15th is just a really special day for me. And obviously, look, it's not very often that you can call guys up and ask them about a minor league game that they were a part of, especially, Mike Guerrero has been in the majors. Dave Chavarria was working with major league and minor league guys last year with the Braves, and Tyler Heineman made it to the big leagues. But all of them remember that, and that just shows what kind of a game that was that night. I really hope that you enjoyed looking back and hearing the perspectives of those guys. I can't thank them enough for dropping by and spending a little bit of time with me. Unfortunately, we don't have an actual video record of that game. There's about a 1.5-minute highlight package. That's what we're going to tail out with here, so you can go back and see it yourself. That's all that exists from that game. So that's why this project was so important to me and why I really wanted to make sure that we had an oral history. So we had something beyond just the box score to remember one of the best games, if not the best game, pitched in Biloxi Shuckers history. So we'll leave you with the highlight package. Thanks so much for dropping by and watching this. And I hope that you enjoy reliving June 15th, 2018 as much as I did.
Zack Brown now deals home the 1-2 to Lean, who takes a fastball. It ties into Corey Ray. The 2-2, that is right down the middle. Is the 0-2 pitch on the way? That's right there for a called third strike.
1-ball, 2-strike pitch to Demerit. Swing and a miss. Got him with a curveball.
His first pass, I picked it off and went 75 yards.
Out the 1-2 pitch on the way. As stands in, and this pitch is hammered out to right field. Going back, Neslony looking up. You can't forget about it. That one is gone. Nick Ramirez with his 31st career home run as a member of the Biloxi Shuckers. He just cranked it out to right field, and just like that, the Shuckers lead it 5-0 in the bottom of the 7th inning.
Does that qualify as pitch.
His 1-2 pitch. Swung on, tipped into the mid. It's another around the right-hander, the 3-2. That's a look back to second. Here it is. That's swung on. Hit out to short. Hager has it. Throws to first. It's in time. And the Biloxi Shuckers have won the first half South Division title.